Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm here with Lisa Rosen, and she's a badass realtor. She works for Coldwell Banker, and today we're going to be going over some realtor safety guidelines. A couple years ago, I made this checklist to help realtors be extra safe because I know a lot of women especially get attacked in the real estate industry, but really just more to give anybody some tools so that whenever they're showing a home, especially by themselves, they set their self up for success so that they're not vulnerable, and it doesn't potentially entice some creepy psychopaths to actually attack you. So we're going to do a quick walkthrough and then we'll do a breakdown of what I saw, and then that'll basically be it for the day. You want to say anything?
Nope. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So I pull up, you get out of your car. Hey, what's up? My name is Joe.
Lisa,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
So yeah, this is the house.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Just right in here.
So I open the door. So they are in the process of doing construction.
This is where the fridge is normally kept.
It's got great sunrises and then great sunsets. Like out here, you can see the view of sunset.
Cool. What's the speed limit like on this road? Do you know? I wouldn't. First bedroom.
Nice. Get some lights hanging down. That thing's included, right? Cool.
When was the porch roof last redone? Do you know? Outside, should we check out the yard? Cool. All right. Now I attack. No. So a lot of this stuff is actually like really preparatory. And so we'll kind of talk through it a little bit and then kind of go in through the actual walkthrough process in itself. So when you're about to do a search with somebody or a showing with someone, do you do any sort of background check on them? Do you do like a Facebook, or do you guys use any apps or anything like that?
We do. We have forewarned, but I don't screen my tenant or screen potential buyers.
What's forewarned?
Forewarn is like you can search their number, their name, and see if they have any convictions.
So a guy that I know works for Keller Williams, he did that on me. I don't know if it was the same app or not, but it was actually very accurate. Like you could actually see charges that I had, but not like where I wasn't convicted, but actual charges. Yeah, you want to do it on, you should run it on me really quick.
Consent, yeah.
Why don't you do it?
I guess I never really thought of it. Never thought to do.
They don't like put you guys through training to use it habitually. It's just kind of like, here's this resource.
Here, actually, if you don't mind, give me your phone number or.
Yeah, 702 phone records, 16 addresses, 13 possible criminal infractions. What? Yep, unlawful concealed carry infraction works on. That was bullshit, by the way. Beating, North Carolina. That was probably like the stop sign. I got that. I represented myself in that case, and I won. The 3 times I've represented myself, 2 times I was guilty. I got myself off as innocent. The 1 time I was innocent, they said I was guilty. I was like, that's crazy. Jackson, misdemeanor, infraction, unavailable. Damn, I got pulled over in North Carolina like all the time. Stricken off. Oh, so this is even showing when I was like a kid, drug addict and shit. So yeah, see, quasi-criminal infraction. So multiple, yeah, I remember both of these incidents, but they're expunged. So it's crazy that even comes up, even though they're expunged. That's good. Let's see, 1 possible criminal match. DuPage County, 2004. Yeah, battery, make physical contact. Yep. 9 vehicle. Let's see my phone records. Yeah, that was my childhood phone record. Damn, this thing is pretty good. Do you have to pay for this?
Well, yeah, with our dues.
16 addresses. All right. Yes, 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 yes. You tell I moved a lot in the military.
Yeah. Every 3 years, right? Or 4?
Sometimes a little bit more often because I wouldn't change bases, but I would change houses. And then 9 vehicle records. Yes, yes. Aspen trailer. That thing was cool. Damn, this is like crazy accurate. This is more accurate than like some police precinct
Right.
background checks. Yeah, because they don't communicate with each other. So that's cool. So, all right, my first recommendation to you is fucking use that thing. I would be interested for you to go back and use that on people you've already done showings with who maybe gave you like a weird vibe, and to see like what comes up. You might find that you were in some really weird situations. Like, I don't know. I would recommend you use it.
Yes. And I don't know if I just forget that I have it because it's not something I do
Regularly.
use all the time. Oh, but I did like if I know someone's got like the guy that I was representing or assisting selling his house who was in prison, I did that on him and he had like 89 criminal infractions and he was in prison.
So what would make you want to help out that guy out?
So I reached out to my managing broker after I got a phone call and she was like, they need help too. And I was like, okay.
I mean, it's a good point. Yeah.
And
I mean, but
yeah,
still,
yeah,
I don't know. Now lesson learned. They got crazy ass moms and
yeah, yes. So she's blocked.
okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So first thing here is the background checks. I highly encourage all realtors, even if you don't use that forewarn application that she was just showing me, which was insanely accurate. I don't say that about stuff often. Like I actually like kind of want access to that. Do a Facebook, LinkedIn, even get Truth Finder. It's like $20 a month or something like that. And that actually is fairly accurate. I'd say about like 70% efficacy, just to find out who the hell it is that you're going to be meeting up with. Because I mean, you're in a home with that one person. It can get really weird really quick. And I'm sure you probably had some somewhat weird encounters.
Yes.
So I always recommend people, that's the first thing that we want to do. And as we go through this checklist, you'll realize that if you get, what is it, like a 7 and above or something, that it's like you're doing pretty good. But if you are not above the 7-point mark in this checklist, then you're really opening yourself up to being susceptible. And kind of like everything else we talk about, it's all about building good habits. And so the fact you don't use that app, well, I've never really done it before. So we need to start incorporating that so it becomes habitual, just like the rest of these things, because that's when we truly master our own personal safety, is when it's through habitual subconscious behavior that you're just a hard target. You're a hard person to pin down, and people are just not going to feel, empowered to try anything against you. Not always, but most of the time. All right. So, guardian angels. The next thing is, who did you tell about our meeting today? Do you tell about any of your coworkers, any of your friends, family, that when you're doing meetups?
No, not unless if it's someone that I kind of feel get an uneasy vibe, I'll tell somebody, but no, I didn't tell anybody about the meeting today.
What gives you an uneasy vibe on someone if you've never met them?
Let's see. So, for example, I had some crazy guy that kept calling me at like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And so he wanted to meet at a property. And I told my managing broker, I was like, here's where I'm going, can you call me when the showing in 15 minutes when the showing is supposed to be over?
Do you use your personal phone number or do you have a business number on your phone?
My phone number, my personal number.
So just like you did that quick background check on me, Truth Finder, for example, will give me your address. So I would also encourage that if you're in a public service face-to-face business, that you don't use your own personal numbers, that you do use some sort of a work number. You could do a Google number, depending upon the CRMs that you guys use. Those will also sometimes provide numbers. But honestly, and I don't know what Coldwell's policy is, I assume they want to provide a safe workplace for their employees. I would just tell them, look, like you're in That's actually kind of crazy to me that they don't provide you guys with the number of incidents and the number of realtors that I've worked with.
Well, because we're independent contractors, so technically,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
I would encourage you then to at least use a Google. I wasn't a big fan of the Google Voice, but there's all sorts of different things out. Or just get a second phone number because you can write that off on it as a tax deduction. And nowadays we have what's called eSIMs, embedded SIMs within the phone, which means that you could actually have two carriers, two different phone numbers, all within your one phone.
Okay.
So you don't have to like carry two phones. You don't have to like keep switching back and forth. You could actually just go beep and you're there, beep, and then you're back to your personal phone.
Now, is it like two separate phones on one phone? So if someone calls that number, it leaves a voicemail like
For that
within-
number, yeah.
Okay.
It's not two completely partitioned phones within the one phone, but in terms of texting and phone calls, it is.
Because I know with like Google Voice, if someone calls me from Google Voice and I respond to them from my phone, then they've got access to my cell phone.
Correct, yeah. But in this one, it's like, and each carrier is a little bit different, but if you get a text from your number 2 number, then when you respond, it's from that number 2 number.
Okay.
And there's like verification stuff that takes place in the process. Because when I was helping the Crimes Against Kids Task Force, a lot of the pedophiles were starting to use that technology when it was first coming out. And so what they would do is they'd have a bunch of pedophilia, child porn on one device, but under a separate like partition of data. And that's when I started to learn about this stuff. So I do know that it does get separated. So on top of kind of letting somebody know, hey, I'm going to go do this showing, or I've got showings on X, Y, and Z this week. Also share your location with them if you have somebody that you could trust. What that's going to do is if you activate the SOS function, you have an iPhone, right? Did we go over the SOS function?
No, but I don't think so. But I
Keep it locked. Just keep it locked.
Okay.
So this is another really big tip here as well, is have your hands on your phone, keep them in your pocket, on your side, whatever. And if something starts to go wrong or starts to feel like a little bit strange, all you have to do is hold these two buttons down, the volume down and the power. And now notice how it's doing the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's just vibrating in my hand, making that countdown. When it gets to 0, it pings 911 with your geolocation.
Okay.
And it says, I'm in distress, I need help.
Okay.
The other thing it does is any emergency contacts that you have in your phone, anybody you're sharing your location with, it also notifies them, hey, Lisa is requesting help. She's in trouble. So now they're calling 911. If they're close by, they can come to try to help you. It's what we want to do is we want to get numbers, reinforcement coming to help us whenever we have some sort of an issue. It's a really great way to surreptitiously or secretly call 911 without having to pull your, unlock it and going through that process. Because in this type of an environment, you're going to get grabbed and slammed and your phone's going to get taken from you really quickly.
So it's down, volume, and the power button.
Volume down and the power button. Go ahead, give it a hold. And then it'll count down from like 9 to 8 to 7. Yep. And you just keep holding it. And then once it reaches 0, it automatically pings them.
Okay.
All right. So with the guardian angel concept, sharing your location, but then also kind of giving them timelines. Now, I understand that this could be a little skewed because you might get no-shows, or maybe somebody shows up, you have a really great conversation with them. I at least like to give people a drop dead time where it's like, hey, I have a flurry of showings today. I'm done by 7 p.m. And so if you don't hear from me by 7:15, I need you to call me, stop in, call the office. And if you still don't hear from me, I need you to just call the police and have them do a checkup on me. And this is the location that I'm going to be at, because we're putting in guardrails to where, even if the day was great, but you were walking out, slipped, fell, and like broke your neck, like, at least now you have somebody who's coming to check up on you,
Right.
which how many horror movies have we seen where all we needed was somebody to come and then, they do and the bad guy kills them or something. So by sharing your location, setting those timeline expectations, and then knowing how to use the SOS function, which, see, here's the next thing. It's almost like I wrote this. It could just put in place a lot of guardrails and a lot of mitigating strategies, because that's what this is ultimately about. How do we mitigate the risk that we're exposing ourselves to?
Right.
Now this one right here, I was going to bring a little Google security camera to kind of like display this a little bit, but I just forgot when I was rushing out the door this morning. Um, it's okay to have like a camera obviously posted, whether that's here on the counter, at the front door, even like with a little sign that just says, hey, like we're being recorded. Even if it's not recording, I mean, I prefer that it does. I prefer that my guardian angel has access to that recording so that way they could check in on me from time to time. All that's going to do is deter anybody who has nefarious intent from doing anything because
Right.
they'll be like, okay, now I'm being recorded. Cool. And then if anything was to happen, now you at least have some sort of evidence that that person was actually there on the site. And so it's a great deterrent. And then ultimately, if something did happen, it could serve as evidence to support you. You know, if you shoot someone or fight back or, you know, something worse happens, ultimately they can be held accountable for it. And so it's just like a little Google camera, just plop that thing down. And even if it's not recording, again, it could serve as a pretty good deterrent. But I don't like to fake stuff. I like to actually have it be legit. Because if they find out that thing's not recording,
Right.
that is
Then
could kind of be enticing them a little bit. Drop dead time. We already talked about that. Like, hey, if I'm not answering by this time, you know, do X, Y, or Z. And then have like a distress word also. A lot of this goes back to that guardian angel concept where it's like, hey, if I give you a call because it's past your drop dead time and you're like, yeah, I really want to get a meat lover's pizza tonight. So we're finishing up here. I'm going to try to hurry over there. Well, I know that Lisa's a vegan. She hasn't eaten meat in the last 20 years. That's not true, but I'm just, saying.
Right.
You want it to be something that's going to be like completely unrealistic. Like I can't tell you if we're using like a secret code word, yeah, I have another showing after this one. Oh, okay, because that's like possible. Maybe you have another showing. But if you're a vegan and you haven't had meat for 20 years and you say, I want a meat lover's pizza, obviously something's like awry there. But at the same time, that this is good because maybe the person hasn't like crossed that boundary yet, but you're just getting a weird vibe and you're already too deep and you can't just necessarily like run out the house. You always can, straight up, but maybe you are just kind of being a little paranoid sometimes, which we all are guilty of. And so do you really want to go running out on the guy who actually could be a really good sale? I mean, that's going to be up to you. He might file a complaint or something or say, heck, it's strange.
Right. Fair housing.
So this one right here, never walk into a room first. You were trying really hard to not do that, which tells me that either one, sometimes you might do that naturally just as a flow because I don't even know where I'm going. So it was a little unnatural for me to like lead the way, if you will. What I would encourage people to do is to hold the door open. So one of the greatest security tricks that I was ever taught was straight kindness and being polite.
Yep.
So if you hold the door open for me and you guide me, you're saying, hey, go this direction. But what does that do? Now that gives me direction and forces me to enter ahead of you. Now, if they just stop right there at the door waiting for you to go through, you'd be like, go ahead, keep going, keep going. If you look in here, you'll see the kitchen. So good job being conscious of it. Although I think you were trying to like game it a little bit, which is totally fine. It's totally cool. Because even when you're gaming it, you're building the reps. And so now it's becoming more of a habit. And so that's definitely really smart. Always have a clear path to the door or exit. Now, when we came in the kitchen here, I did kind of suck you into the corner over here a little bit where I was kind of like, oh, the sunset. And then you came over here and were like, yeah, the sunset's this way. That always think of it in terms of like angles.
Mm-hmm.
Like what exit would you have access to being over here with me where I could not impede your movement?
Right.
So if you would have been over here, it would have been perfect because you have this barrier between us being this island. You could run that way. You could run towards the front door right over here, which also will bring us into the next aspect of the doorways is have them unlocked so you can make a hasty egress or at least have one window unlocked. Of course, if it's summertime, have it open. Not in the wintertime, but giving yourself those types of outs where it's like, I need to get out of here. And then you just run towards the door or run through the window. You jump and it's only a screen rather than actual glass that you have to go through. Very beneficial, very extreme. But again, like I must have worked with maybe like 15 realtors who've been like attacked. And so I do know that it's a very real thing that you guys always have to deal with.
What about also like if you're a female, ponytails. Like, don't wear ponytails because they can grab your hair.
I mean, I can grab your
They
hair.
get close to you.
I can grab your hair anyways. You know, I wouldn't take it that far necessarily. Maybe there is a benefit to it that I just haven't necessarily like realized. But I mean, if I'm gonna grab your hair, I'm just gonna grab your hair.
Right.
I don't know if a ponytail makes that easier. I think it might be, well, might be just as difficult. Regardless. And then the next piece is that keys. Make sure you have your keys on you at all times. So we said initially when we started this off that you would be waiting in your car. And the reason why you wouldn't come into the house first is in case you get a no-show. How often do you get no-shows? Pretty regularly?
It depends. Like, I deal with a lot of rentals, so yeah.
Okay. My point is that we always want to have the ability to move freely. So if you're sitting in your vehicle and the vehicle's on and you have the ability to just put it in drive and roll out, maybe back into that driveway so you can get a clear exit, that would be, I think, pretty beneficial. But to actually pull in to where your front side of your vehicle is pointed towards the house or the garage or whatever, you're creating blindness in your rear, unless obviously you're observing, but you're probably doing work or something in the meantime. And so they could just pull up on you. And if they do have bad intentions, then of course, or you might just even get your ass carjacked from passerbys.
Right.
Because the driveway is the most common place where people get robbed in the suburbs. So I would say backing yourself in and keeping that vehicle running is totally acceptable. You don't have to keep it in drive. I think that's a little too much, but giving yourself that option, that opportunity to quickly put it into gear, I think would definitely help you out a lot. And then if you're inside the home, have your keys on you, because if you're going to run outside, I mean, you look like you're in great shape, but you're not going to outrun me. Well, most dudes these days, the bar's pretty low. Most guys will be able to chase down a woman because they're physically stronger. Not always the case. The more I think about it, you could probably outrun 90% of people out there. But
I'm not wearing heels.
yeah, that'd be a telltale sign of what you used to do, right? I remember I dated a chick once and she was sprinting in heels and I was like, nice. Because she was a stripper. No, not you. She was. Okay, I just want to make sure I was clear about that. Like, she was a stripper. We didn't date for too long. She's a cool chick, though. Great girl. She's got a kid now, which doesn't surprise me. Having your keys on your person allows you the ability to, if you do need to vacate the property, get in your car and actually take off, as opposed to just running around blindly, trying to get somebody to flag you down. And then lastly, bonus tip, arming yourself, which we've talked about many times before. Do you carry at these showings?
Yep.
Where do you carry?
In my purse.
Okay. Where do you keep your purse? Because I didn't see it on you once this entire time.
So it wasn't on me at all, but usually it's on me. It's on my back. Like,
okay.
Which is not good because it's a backpack. So.
Yeah. So you're looking at about like a 4 to 5 second draw time when it comes to that. I would say this is that for we need to figure out what type of a holster works for you and your body type and the clothing you wear for home showings. I don't see a benefits to keeping a gun anywhere but on your actual physical person, because look at the spaces in the house that it's so tiny that you're going to get grabbed. If somebody tries to attack you, they will put hands on you, and you must have the ability to get to that thing quickly, especially if they throw you to the ground or something like that. The other thing is like pepper spray. So, well, if you do get some and you have like homes like that are not occupied, for example, do multiple realtors do showings at the homes? I'm assuming they do, from like competitors and stuff. Okay. So maybe like storing pepper spray underneath the back of the toilet isn't the best option. But if you are doing like a full day of showing, maybe it is, because you could prep the house up a little bit, set up your camera or two, put pepper spray around the house in a couple of strategic points, make sure your vehicle's nice and backed in, open the window, things like that, because it's really all about that preparation. I mean, that's 90% of all the personal safety stuff, is having good prep so that if you need to use it, you easily can. And you don't have to like think about it, because you'll lose that ability really quickly. Let's see. Overall, though, I mean, that's really it. So if we take a little bit of time to do the background checks as deep as we can, as quickly as we can, let some people know, hey, guardian angel concept, I'm going here. I'm going to be doing this. These are the people that I'm meeting with. If we share our location from the smartphone with those guardian angels, emergency contacts, if we know how to use that SOS function, If we then take security camera, set it up at the door, counter, whatever it is, add in the drop dead time, like, hey, if I don't call you by X amount of time, I need you to do X, Y, or Z. Call me, stop in, call the police, whatever it is. And then have that safer distress word. All of that can work as a really great safety net to where if something does happen, then you have things in place. And I'm going to ask you about some of your experiences here in just a minute to see if any of that stuff could have applied. Never walk into the room first, open that door, allow them to be guided in. Of course, if it's like a husband and wife, like 3 kids or whatever, it's less risk. But then always keep yourself a clear path to that door and that exit in case they do turn around and things get strange. Have your keys on you at all times. Keep the doors unlocked. Keep the window, at least one window unlocked. With the doors, of course, you have to be concerned that random people might walk in from uncontrolled entry points.
Right.
But I think having a window, especially in the summertime open, jump out that thing can be a pretty good option. And then having that firearm on your person, using pepper spray, understanding how far that pepper spray travels. So it's like, when do you use it? Well, if this person says something, encroaches upon your space, once we have the combination of both of those, and then you vocally tell them to get away from you and they don't adhere to it, well, then that's obviously like go time. So kind of getting a little bit of gamifying in your head, like, man, like when would I pepper spray somebody? What distance do I feel uncomfortable? That could help you be a little bit more attuned to that whenever somebody does start to get a little bit of weird on you. What experiences have you had or that you can think of off the top of your head? Like, what was like the creepiest experience you've had in doing a home showing? You've been a realtor for a while now, right?
Yep. So I did a few. One was in Chicago, and it was a client that I've worked with before. We went into a house, and it's supposed to be vacant. We saw like 2 chairs in a room, and we went upstairs and I heard something. I was like, I think I heard something breathe. And so my client opened the door and there was a dog there. Yeah. So, and then we closed the door.
Like a
and
big dog or a little dog?
Like a pit bull.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So like a big dog. So then we went downstairs and I think the basement windows were open or drafty. And so he's like, yeah, I'm done. We're good. So we left.
So it wasn't the actual guy you were showing it to. It was the house itself had some squatters in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of like a whole different topic too, because how do you properly clear a home or make sure that it's safe before you actually set it up for a showing? Yeah. That's a completely different topic I should probably cover in a different video.
Speaking of, and this was not that long ago, I had a couple clients. We were going to a property to view, and I walk up to the house, and the door is off the hinges and open. So I called the agent as I'm standing outside and told her, hey, the door is off the hinges, took a picture, sent it to her, and, went down to my clients and said, hey, we're not going to look at this house.
Yeah.
But even still, just being by the door was probably not a smart thing to do. I probably should have just gotten in my car and called her from.
Yeah, there's no reason to endanger yourself like that whatsoever. What about, have you had any incidents when you were showing somebody and then that person you were showing started to give you a weird vibe?
No.
Well, that's incredible. Yeah. That's good then.
My thing is, well, that's not true. So I do with a lot of rentals, and so I don't like to do single showings. When I have rentals, I like to back them up, like have people come at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a revolving door. But one guy came, did a showing, left, and then he came back as I was getting ready to lock up, and I locked the door and stood outside the house and talked to him.
Yeah, that's really unusual. Why did he claim to have come back?
Because he wanted to talk about like the application or applying for it. Yeah.
Something that he could have just done via email.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge indicator to me that somebody's trying to do something nefarious. They come in, they take a look, they're like, oh, that shoe's pretty cute. Then they leave, and then they get some weird twisted thought. They come back. And you said it was even during the end of the showing period.
Yeah.
That's a huge red flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you remember that guy's name, I want you to do like a background thing on that guy.
So I don't remember it. Yeah, but I would.
So all this stuff hopefully helps you, helps maybe some other realtor that might be out there, just kind of be a little bit more safer. And if you guys have things that you do on your own accord, then please let me know. If you think any of this stuff was impractical, let me know. I mean, does all this stuff make sense? Or
I learned just like, I'm not doing any of those things really. So
yeah, you're like going to get attacked.
yeah.
But well, cool. I'm glad that you were able to learn something from it. If people want to get a hold of you for homes or showings or something like that, I know there's a lot of people in the group now. Where do they get a hold of you? Do they just call your?
Yep, they can call my cell phone.
Okay,
appointment.
let's not. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know and I'll get you in touch with Lisa. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. See you.